Hello and welcome everyone to the first ever edition of the Before the Buzzer podcast. I'm Adam here, joined alongside Alex and Cheyenne. We're excited to bring you the latest in NBA and hoops news all around. Boys, how are we doing here on this Super Bowl Sunday?
What up? It's your boy Big Play Shay over here. I started watching the NBA when I was pretty young, watching Kobe and the Lakers. My dad would always be like, "Oh yeah, that guy's Kobe over there." I'm like, "Who Kobe?" Then I started watching and
Real
that's
recognized
that's
real.
that. Exactly. That's my boy Kobe right there. Based down here in SoCal, Super Bowl Sunday. Also fuck the 49ers. I'm a Rams fan, so fuck the 49ers. Just wish the
Yeah.
Rams could somehow get back in the Super Bowl. But yeah,
Go
that's about
Niners.
it.
All right. Hi, I'm Alex. I grew up in the UK, so I didn't really grow up supporting a team or anything. But after I moved to America, I can really focus on the UK, on the NBA and stuff like that, playing basketball, watching basketball and stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily a big fan of anyone, but and they're at least in the same way that they are. I mean, they're LeBron Blazers, but
Whoa,
um,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's crazy.
Are
That's
you?
crazy.
but yeah, I'm excited to talk about the NBA. I have a lot of thoughts on everything. So yeah, let's get to work. I'm excited.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm Adam. Grew up in Southern California with these boys. By the way, we're all separated because of college. That's the only reason we're not recording IRL. But
Shout out the dorm room.
Lakers fan, born and raised, loved Kobe. Watched the games with my grandma, my dad, mom, whole family involved. So big Lakers fans, but I really like hoops in general. Follow along with it. Followed along with the NBA all my life. So I'm excited to get into this. And boys, we got to talk about that trade deadline because it's kind of lackluster if we're being honest
Holy
here.
moly, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah, not much really
trades,
Good.
happened. Yeah.
but we
Not
have to
much is really
start.
happening.
I think we got to
Yeah.
start with New York because they were really the only team that made any big moves. What did you guys think of their moves? And did you think that it moved the needle or just elevated where they'll stand in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, I think it was a
Honestly,
great move.
oh fuck, my bad, my bad.
Okay, now you good. All right.
You
I
got
think it
that.
was a
You
great
got
move. I think it was great value. I think Bogdanovich, he adds a lot to a competitive team. It was in Detroit. There's not really anything going on there. But he's still been really good, and I think he still can offer a lot to a good team as a playmaker, as a shooter. Right, he's a great shooter. And Burks as well. Burks is very streaky. I'm not the biggest fan of Burks, but he is someone that can come in and change a game. He can change a series. And I think for a team like New York, you're gonna have to need guys like that. They're not the most top-heavy team. They have a ton of depth. I think adding even more depth for just a few seconds, is great value. And I think they're in a great place to compete with some of the teams in the East, right? Even if they get a team like Milwaukee, like a flawed team, even a team that might be more talented on paper, but a flawed team, the Knicks can just they have so much great defense and toughness that Tibbs has brought in. I think they can really compete with anybody, and I think that makes them inherently a contender. I think it could be anybody on their night, and I think they're a really good team.
You think they've elevated to contender status about I'd say top 3 in the East?
I'd say yeah. So I think they're less, especially with the Embiid injury, that kind of takes Philly out of it. I think they've proven that they can beat the Cavs last year, right? And I think they're better than they were last year. They're more deep. They're in a better place, I think. So I think I put them over the Cavs personally, and then Boston more talented on paper, but Boston they have some games where they just don't seem right, and I think that definitely the Knicks have a chance to beat them in a series, or at least to compete with them and you really push them to 6 or 7 or something, So I definitely have them as a contender. I think they can really get to I think they have a good chance to get into the finals, especially if injuries go their way. They have some good luck and good fortune.
Cheyenne, where are they at in your eyes?
I actually personally love what the Knicks did. They didn't really give up much because they gave up. What's his name? Evan Fournier wasn't playing for them. The only real asset they actually gave up was Quentin Grimes, but even then, you're getting Bogdanovich and Alec Burks in return. They all it takes is for them to have one good game, and that could basically win them a playoff series. All it takes is one good game for a year from your role players, and they could just win you a series basically.
Yeah,
and
also
I honestly, and similar to what Pitch was saying, you good, my boy. Similar to what you were saying, Pitch, I think they could beat anyone in a playoff series. They just kind of need to get lucky though, like every team that goes to the finals with injuries, matchups, all of that. Because honestly, they're the deepest team in the East by far. And like a team like the Celtics, if they suffer like an injury to like their big 4 or 5 or whatever you want to call it, they could definitely take them out because the Knicks are like 8, 9, 10 deep, where even one injury it wouldn't impact them too much.
So here's my thing. I agree with y'all boys that they did improve over the deadline. They certainly won the deadline. I mean, no one else really made any. For me though, I'm not sure how this depth really fits into Coach Tibbs's play style though. The way that he uses his lineup. I mean, he only goes like 7 or 8 deep. Last playoffs, I mean, Brunson was out there playing 40 minutes a game. I mean, ridiculous time out there. So I think it improved their team, but I don't know if these moves necessarily elevate them to a Boston level, to a team that can win a championship type of level. I look at a team like Milwaukee, and even though they've hit a rough patch recently, I still think that their talent is just going to overwhelm a team like the Knicks in the playoffs. I know they have some good pieces, some good depth, but I just think their top line isn't good enough to compete with a team like Boston or Milwaukee. I think they've elevated themselves to a 3 or 4 seed in the East. I just don't think it's enough to win a title, even if they were to get out of the East and beat one of those Western Conference teams.
That's fair, yeah. That's valid. Definitely. I still wouldn't take them over like a Denver or even like an OKC.
Yeah.
And also, I'm saying this also. I'm not saying that they're the best team in the East necessarily. I just think that they have a very good chance in a series, right? If something happens, they're in a prime position to just take advantage. And also, I think that, as you were saying, Tibbs doesn't go that deep, but now they have more players who can play. Like last year, Brunson was the guy, right? He was everything for them offensively. It was him and Randall, but in terms of guard creation, it was mostly just Brunson.
I'm just
he's
saying,
amazing at it.
Tibbs never.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
He'd have
But now
to
you
change
have.
something.
But the good thing, okay, now, right? You have guys you can take the load off. Pause. From the load off of Brunson's shoulders, because right, you have like guys like Bogdanovic, like Randall's hurt right now, right? So you need someone to help carry that playmaking scoring load. Bogdanovic can do that. Burks can do that. You have guys who can take some minutes off of and responsibility off of Brunson's shoulders, so that by the time of the playoffs, he is more rested, and he's less likely to break down because he's a small guard, right? Those guys are injury prone.
Real quick, where do you think? Because I mean, Bogdanovic is the biggest part of that they made recently. Outside of the Anunoby trade, that was the biggest move for them. Where do you think he fits into their lineup? Because I could see him taking away minutes from DiVincenzo, but DiVincenzo has gotten hot as of late.
Yeah.
Do you think they insert him in that starting role next to Brunson?
I don't think so.
No, they don't. I don't think they start him. I think they have him come off the bench.
I personally, I don't think he fits with the starting lineup. I think he's a great bench off. I think he's a great 6-7 man off the bench to just give you give you offense, give you a shooter, right? Give you spacing. For someone, if Randall's not playing well or if he's hurt or whatever, that guy can slot in and do a lot of what Randall can do offensively, in terms of shooting and creation. Even though he's not the same post up type of guy or inside finishing type of guy, you know what I mean? But he still offers a lot offensively, and that's something you really need with this team. I think he'd be kind of redundant in starting lineup to an extent, and also the Knicks' identity is based off of defense, right? And I think putting him in starting lineup would throw off that defense a bit. He is a bit of a liability. I wouldn't say a liability. He just isn't a Tibbs defender, right? Compared to a Josh Hart or a DiVincenzo. So you want to keep them in the lineup. You want to keep them playing big minutes. But I think he can definitely be a great 20 minutes off the bench. He can swing a playoff series, and that's what they really need with the way their roster is constructed right now.
All I'm gonna say, bro, Bogdanovic, he's probably gonna be taking minutes away from Josh Hart, and we know how much Tibbs loves Josh Hart out there.
Hart's
That's the only thing, bro.
There,
exactly, 40 minutes of straight cardio every night.
Josh Hart's gotta be in there.
And I think how far the Knicks go in the playoffs, it's completely dependent on Julius Randle, because we've seen him struggle in the playoffs heavily in the past, and I don't think it's efficient for Brunson to just have to just go out there every night getting 35, 40 points just for them to barely win against one game against the Heat. Exactly.
With these
Julius
moves,
Randle just needs to step up.
Do you think? Well, I was going to go to. Do you think Randall needs to step up, or at times take a step back when he's
take a step back,
hurting the team?
Take a step back.
Take a step back. Yeah, I think Randall.
I'm
not a Randall guy. So in general, I'm just not a Randall guy at all. I don't think the way he plays is conducive to winning. But I do think with Bogdanovic, you have kind of a safety net where if Randall's doing all of his stuff, where he the attitude things, the stuff where he's not being efficient, taking bad shots, you have someone like Bogdanovic you can put in there, and he can still give you something offensively. You're not having to give up a lot. You can still kind of replace what he does with better shooting, right, with better off ball stuff like that. And so yeah, I'm a big fan of this move, honestly, and I think it definitely does create a safety net for Randall and for any of the shenanigans that occur during the playoffs.
That's where I kind of agree with Adam. It does kind of depend on like what Tibbs does in the playoffs. He only goes like 6-7 men deep. If he decides to just play Julius Randle like 43 minutes when he's like 3 of 18 shooting, like
yeah, he doesn't have to now.
It's nothing. Yeah, exactly. But like, we just got to be sure. Like, do you think there's like 100% chance, like, if that's happening, Tibbs will actually take him out the game, or like?
We don't know. We
exactly
don't
like that.
Randall isn't exactly a very Tibbs player, right? In terms of a type of guy Tibbs likes. But I think he's definitely going to be likely to take him out. And I think now, because before he was so talented, right? He's such a talented player, Randall. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you want to keep him in there even if he's playing bad, because he can swing a game, right? That's just how good he is. He can really just dominate a game, dominate a team, But definitely, like, I think Bogdanovic is a great piece to add. And also, I think they can play together too. I think if you need more shooting on the court, say Hart isn't hitting a shot, DiVincenzo isn't hitting a shot, you can put Bogdanovic out there with Randall. He can survive defensively, I think, next to Randall. We all remember in the 2018 playoffs, they had him on LeBron. He did a solid job. It's a good job anyone can do against LeBron. So I think he has some sort of defensive ability that I think wasn't being utilized in Detroit. And now he's on a good team. Maybe he can use it, right? And also, Anunoby's still there. Anunoby can cover for them. Anunoby, yeah. He's him.
Yeah.
British King, yeah.
All right, let's pivot.
Yeah, he's British from London, yeah.
Anunoby?
Yes,
Anunoby.
come on. Yes.
Casual.
Really? Yeah, he's from London. He went to school in America though. He went to college in America. He went to Indiana.
Yeah.
And he's good though. He's good. He's like Luol Deng, another British guy.
Luol Deng,
my boy.
kind of crazy.
Another Tibbs guy. Another
yeah,
Tibbs
exactly.
Guy.
Yeah, the legacy, the British legacy.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah. I think we've exhausted the Knicks at this point. In terms of other deals around, the NBA, there wasn't a lot. But what was the team that you think came away with, the next best day at the deadline?
I would have to say it would be the Dallas Mavericks. I believe they were the other definitive winner of the trade deadline, because the Mavs went from having basically no front court depth at all in the league, and now they have some of the best. The other night they played, PJ Washington had like 14, 16 points off the bench on like 60% shooting. Daniel Gafford, he had like 17 and 9 off the bench. Like, what? Nothing more you could really ask.
It's a small snapshot, but I mean, the other night, Mavs beat the Thunder 146-111. I mean, it's only one game, but that's a sneak peek into what they could be come playoff time. I really liked what they did with the move to get Gafford, just building that front court depth up, as Cheyenne said, especially with Lively out. They need that right now. And, given some of the injuries he's had this year, just in case something were to happen in the playoffs, I feel like he's a solid guy for them in their front court there. He's actually 7th in blocks this season, in average blocks per game. I mean, he's just been really solid and, not really seen as much because he plays for Washington, but I mean, averaging almost 11 points per game and 8 rebounds this year, like really solid year. And they barely gave up anything. I mean, for Washington, they gave up Grant Williams, Seth Curry, first-round pick. I mean, I think Gafford, Holmes in a first. I mean, that they didn't give up much. So I think I like their moves, and I think we talk about teams elevating themselves into contender status. I think this places the Mavs firmly in that place in the West. Fritz, you look like you disagree.
I disagree heavily, right? I like Daniel Gafford. I think he's a very good player. I think he's a great big. I would have loved him on the team. I don't think Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington turn like a pretty average or mediocre Mavs team, even with the great talent like Kyrie, Luka.
Where did
I don't think that makes
before this trade.
I mean,
Because
I have them like
a little bit higher than you.
like six, seven. I mean, I just not a big fan of them. Like, I think there's so many teams that are better than them that are better positioned to win in a series. And then I don't think these guys really move the needle. Like, I don't think Daniel Gafford is going to win you a playoff series. I don't think, as great as he is, I just don't think he's that guy. And I don't think, and same with PG Washington. He's been inconsistent the last few years with his shooting. He's like, I don't think it's necessarily that so big like an improvement that I don't think it's worth it. I don't think giving around the first round picks is worth it because the first, like, those are late first. Those are first that are like 6 years away, 5, 6 years away. That if Luka leaves, if this Dallas thing doesn't work, they could be like top picks, right? You know, this is like if the Cavs in like 05 had traded away the 2011 first round pick for, I don't know, the signing deal for something. Like, this isn't necessarily good value. I don't think. I also don't think it makes them a contender. I don't think he still haven't sorted out.
My thing is, I think their experience in the backcourt with Luka and Kyrie, it would honestly be hard for me to take a team that, is younger but at the top of the West right now, like in OKC or Minnesota. I'd really have to. I think it would be a tough out for a team like that, the Dallas Mavericks. I seriously think that Luka come playoff time, we've seen a different animal. I mean,
yeah,
one of the top players, obviously one of the top players in the game, but come playoff time, I mean, he's unbelievable. Kyrie, we've seen. If those two guys can stay healthy and stay on the court, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to pick a team like Minnesota or OKC over there. I really think
would.
So.
Honestly, the way I feel about the Western Conference, I feel like it's not just like the top teams that could like honestly just make it out, because I feel like the Western Conference is so deep. I feel like almost anyone has like a chance to like make it out. Obviously, probably not like the 8th seed, unless it's the Lakers. Come on, they're making it. But basically, I feel like, because think about it, in a playoff series, you have Luka and Kyrie. You basically, with Luka alone, you have a chance to come out of the series, and I feel good about saying that against like any team. If you have Luka Doncic on your team in the playoffs, I think you could come out of that series on top.
I mean, I think we also have to. Alex, when you bring up the point of before the trade, you placed them at 6 or 7. I mean,
something in that range.
Really,
I think even lower, perhaps.
When Lively was in there and healthy, I mean, they were top 4 seed in the West. I mean, his injury kind of slowed their run a little bit, but when Lively was in there, they looked like a team that could contend for a championship. I mean,
I disagreed. I don't think they could. I don't think this team around Luka necessarily fits around him. I think it's too Luka dependent. I don't think you can win a championship with one guy just doing everything. And I get the Kyrie,
that's why
they have Kyrie Irving too.
But the thing is, with a Luka offense, right? Everything runs through him. Everything's about him. And I don't think that necessarily works in a series. I don't think.
But they made it to the Western Conference Finals a couple of years ago.
That was a fluky run. That was
just Luka.
That was a fluky run because the Suns supposed to beat their ass, but then
they didn't though. Luka beat them.
Chris Paul cuts the lead to 42.
I think Kyrie has proved that he can play off the ball a little bit. I mean, in those playoff runs with Braun, I mean, he doesn't.
8 years ago,
have the ball in his. Well, I mean, you act like Kyrie's still one of the top players in this league. I mean, Kyrie's still one of the.
But do you think he wants
this league?
Okay. Let's look at the rest of the pieces around the Mavs, right? I don't think they're wing on the wing. I don't think they're strong enough in the wing. I don't think they have any consistency with their shooters, right? Josh Green, inconsistent. Tim Hardaway Jr. all over the place, right? Great player when he's on, I love picking him in fantasy, but like, he's just not someone I necessarily trust in a series, right? And also the bigs aren't gonna swing necessarily a series. I don't think, especially a backup. Like Gafford's gonna realistically be like a 20-minute per game. Great guy to have. I think he would have been great on the Lakers or something. I would think he would have been great on a bunch of teams. I'm trying to think who else. Maybe in OKC. He'd been amazing in OKC. He's exactly what they need for like big depth. Just someone who can help Chet physically and whatnot. But yeah, I just don't think that this swings the needle for them. I just think that they still have a lot of weaknesses that I don't think you can't put them against an OKC. OKC can destroy them in a series. Personally,
well, I disagree.
You're wrong. How?
I think the Mavs come out on top in that series.
How? Okay, how? Okay,
they have the best player in the series.
Oh no,
the third best player in the series.
I think it's a debate. I think it's a legitimate debate between Shea and Luka.
Right,
Statistically, no.
Even then,
Kyrie Shea did so much without the ball.
Luka
He
had
did so much
MVP
without
case.
dominating everything. Sorry.
Luka had an
Shea is
MVP
able to-
case for most of this
Yeah,
season.
and
so-
Shea does too. Shea does too. Okay.
Yeah,
Look,
I get what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're like equal players or that. I think Shea is someone that he makes everybody around him better, and like he kind of, and I think Luka does that too. But I think Shea does it in a better way, and I think statistically they can go mano a mano. They can really like counteract each other, and the OKC depth is insane. I think if you look at guys like Chet, Jalen Williams, those are already guys who are better than. Chet is better than Lively. Obviously, he can do so much more. He stretches the floor. He makes it like a matchup nightmare for the bigs, right? Because then you're taking the help away. Then Shea can go to the basket and all that stuff. Look at Jalen Williams. He's legitimately playing like a great second option at the moment. Adding Hayward, another deal. Hayward, I think Hayward's a great bet for that team. You have Lou Dort. He's shooting pretty good this year. You have Giddey, questionable guy off the court, but on the court, he is someone that he has a lot of talent and he can definitely be another playmaker. Even though, again, he is a flawed player and a flawed man as well. But
I just feel like the Thunder they have no playoff experience,
Well, here,
honestly.
here,
not
here.
Except Gordon
not the
Hayward.
Mavs. What are you talking
What's
about?
he gonna?
Hold on.
The Mavs,
Let's-
they do. They have Luka and Kyrie.
Who
Their two
else?
best
Who
players
else?
have like the most
Who else?
playoff
Yeah,
experience.
Hayward. Okay, who else?
Tim Hardaway
Who else?
Jr. was on
Hold on,
that team.
hold on.
Shut up,
Maxi
no,
Kleber
we're
was
gonna-
on that
We're gonna
team.
come back.
That
We're gonna
doesn't
come back.
count.
We're just
No.
saying.
We're
Well,
gonna come
bro,
back to this.
dude, the
Because-
Thunder, bro, come on.
Alex,
Buffalo, bro.
You're gonna hate when we talk about the Lakers and comparing.
Bro,
teams
you
to
just want to be Chet
You're-
Holmgren so
if
bad.
you're-
That's your
if
player
you're,
comp, but you
hyping
can't
up
shoot.
the Thunder now.
No, I'm Maxi Kleber,
Just
bro.
wait,
Don't hate.
just wait till later.
Thunder,
but
dude,
let's
depending on who the Thunder go against, they're
Okay,
getting
can we
first
talk about this
rounded,
like 2
bro.
minutes?
we'll
Sorry?
talk about.
No, they're not. What are you
We'll talk-
saying? You watch this? No. Okay, stop. Little bro,
It's
hop
okay.
off. Okay.
You hop off, little bro.
You hop off. Okay, Adam,
All right,
separated.
all right.
Adam, go.
So the other big news from Thursday, obviously at the trade deadline, the Kobe statue. Cheyenne, I know you probably watched. Alex probably watched. Any thoughts on the statue and ceremony? Because I certainly have an opinion on how they handled it. Cheyenne, why don't you go first? Fellow Laker fan in here.
I wish that they made it more public, because the thing about Kobe is he even says it. He plays through injuries just so like a fan, they buy a ticket just so they could see him play once. Because like that's what he meant to like the city of LA. He was a man of the people. He was for the fans. I think every Laker fan, like everyone in LA, they just wish like they could like kind of see that moment, be a part of that moment. Because I feel like Kobe would have like wanted it to be that way. And I love the pose they chose, the 81-point game. The only like complaint about the actual statue is like I feel like they made one of his arms look really skinny. But I love everything about it. It was a touching moment when Pau was comforting his daughter Natalia. But I just wish they made it more public rather than like a private event.
Yeah, I'm not a big Kobe fan or Laker fan, as I said. But again, as you said, he is for the people. He is for the culture. So I do think that making it more public and not gatekeeping it as much would have been better. But at the end of the day, like it's still a great thing. And I think it's great that he has that statue. He deserves it. Obviously, it's tragic that it had to happen this early on. As soon because of everything that happened. But yeah, I'll let Adam go because I don't know. Adam has some thoughts. I know Adam.
All right, I do have some gripes about how the Lakers.
All right,
handled
let's hear, champ.
Let's preface by saying, big Kobe fan, my favorite player of all time. In terms of the statue itself, Vanessa said that Kobe picked it. I'm not sure if he envisioned himself having a statue. I don't know how he picked it, but apparently that was the pose.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I won't comment on the pose. I wish it was 24, but there are 2 more statues apparently.
Yeah.
For Kobe, so I hope one of them's 24, just because that's the one I grew up on.
They said one of them is going to be 24, and the other one's going to be him and his daughter.
Yeah, that's what I think is the right thing to do. Hopefully, they have one of his iconic moments with the 24. But in terms of how the Lakers handled it, so they put a few prominent people in this big white tent, like a couple hours before the game. Completely hide the statue from the public. And I understand, Probably had some crowd control issues if they would have displayed the statue to the public in terms of the game that night. But I mean, to hide it from the public until 10 a.m. the next day for a guy that was all about the people. That's who he played for. He played for Laker Nation, for the city of Los Angeles. It was just a little bit upsetting for me. I feel like the whole ceremony was kind of closed off and, hid what should have been one of the best moments for Laker Nation in Los Angeles kind of away from the public. But I understand, they had the crowd issue controls probably. They would have had people come up. I just think they could have handled it better. But let's not dwell on it too long. Good ceremony, good to honor Kobe. Of course, the Lakers lost him that day. They always lose on a Kobe day.
Exactly,
that was the worst
bro.
part
That's what I was
the
going to say.
Nuggets owned them.
Bro.
The Nuggets owned them.
Remember that game against the Blazers?
Daddy Jokic.
Their first game after they lost, bro, and Lillard, bro.
You know what someone said? Why would they schedule the Nuggets on Kobe Day? Are they just trying to see the Lakers? Like they could have scheduled the Detroit Pistons or
exactly, bro.
Nah, bro.
The thing is, at least we lost to the Nuggets, bro. Like if we lost to the Pistons on Kobe Day, bro, oh my god, bro.
Hating them? That's hating them?
Nah, they would have had to cover the Lakers on bro's statue jersey, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
bro would have been ashamed to wear that jersey.
Let's get into the Lakers now. Obviously, they didn't make any moves at the deadline. Recently signed, though, Spencer Dinwiddie off the buyout market. I don't think that moves the needle much. I don't think it really does much of anything for them. I'm not a huge Spencer Dinwiddie fan. I believe this season he's shooting 40% from the field. That efficiency certainly won't help the Lakers. Ninth in the West right now with a 28-26 record. Coming off, though, an impressive performance, 139 points against a Pelican squad that it's not horrible defensively. They're, middle of the pack. So where do you think the Lakers stand right now in the Western Conference? I know they're ninth. I think they're better than ninth. We'll get into comparing the Lakers to different teams in a playoff series, but Cheyenne, I'll start with you. Where do you think the Lakers are at in terms of their roster?
Well, anytime LeBron and Anthony Davis are in the playoffs and fully healthy, we really know what they're capable of. We know what they're capable of.
Losing to the Nuggets, getting swept. That's what they're capable of.
Each game was really close though.
Sweep's to sweep. But go on.
Okay. All right. But the Nuggets don't have Bruce Brown this year, so we're gonna see. Okay. All right, let me talk, bitch. No,
my fault, Jay.
I love you, bitch. I love you, boy.
My fault, cuz.
All right. No, but with LeBron on your team in the playoffs, I genuinely do think they could make it to the finals and actually win the championship. Obviously, they haven't been playing their best basketball lately, but as we've seen lately, D'Lo's been turning it up. Hopefully, he could keep this momentum, carry it into the playoffs a bit. Hopefully, he doesn't play trash again where he gets benched throughout most of the series, and we got to see those videos of him getting shots up after the game. But I genuinely do think that the way they've been playing lately, I'm happy they didn't make any stupid trades giving up first round picks to do something that really doesn't make them much better, any of that. But I do genuinely think that the Lakers, with the way they've been playing recently, I think they could carry this into the playoffs and build on it.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on this, right? I don't think you're overrating how good LeBron and AD are because they've been healthy the whole season and they're 28 and 26, right? You usually have an injury from LeBron or AD and which kind of throws off their season, right? That's what it was, previous years when the Lakers have struggled. So whatever, fine. You had injuries. They've been completely healthy and you're still 29. You're still 20. What is it? 28 and 26. Yeah, 28 and 26. That's insane. You cannot tell me they're a finals contender when even with all their guys, they're still ass. And also LeBron, I don't think LeBron's at the level now where he can carry a team on his back like he did in 2018, take a weak team to the finals. He just isn't that good anymore. And that's okay. He's still a great player, still a top 10, top 15 guy in the league. He's not that guy anymore. If you put him in a series against an OKC, a Dallas, a team that is in their kind of range, a playing game or something, or OKC would obviously be a 2-7 or something. But I just think they don't have the best player anymore. And I think when you don't have the best player and your roster is weaker, then you're just not going to win. And like you look at guys like D'Lo, right? D'Lo's doing great, which is obviously amazing, right? You need guys like that. But D'Lo, we've seen before he struggles in the playoffs. He's a defensive liability. When his shot isn't falling, he struggles to be effective, especially because in the playoffs you need the ball in LeBron's hands, right? Because he's fucking LeBron. So by taking the ball out of his hands, giving it to D'Lo, you're inherently making your team weaker because I'd rather just have multiple options. I'd rather have the ball in like Austin Reeves' hands, D'Lo and LeBron's hands, and even AD's hands. I want to see AD be a scorer, but he's just not been doing that.
Well,
there's certain things
I
he could.
think couple of things. Anthony Davis, I think it's time that we just come to the realization that
I agree. Yeah,
that isn't intent on scoring, and that's okay. But you can't be a 1A if you're not.
exactly.
In the NBA, you can't be a 1A if you're not intent on scoring.
Okay, so let's say he's a 1B or a 2, right?
LeBron is going to have to be the leader of this team still.
Exactly. He can't on his own. I don't think he can. He needs. Personally, I don't think he can be a 1A. He can be 1B for sure. Like if AD becomes like okay, the whole point of the AD trade was that AD was eventually going to take the throne from LeBron, be the leader offensively, carry the load in the regular season, and then in playoffs they can be like a 1A, 1B, work out each other, be successful, right? AD's never developed, or he lost that as a scorer. He was a great scorer in New Orleans. He just hasn't. He's just not really a scorer anymore.
Even the first year with the Lakers, he was a scorer too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
happened after they won the chip, bro. Like,
yeah, he's silly boy. But but like the thing is, I just don't think LeBron can be a 1A. Especially at this point, he's pretty much just a 1 now. Like, I don't think even AD's even a 1B, just a 2, I think, and that's fine. If you had like a Shea with him or something, or or like like Luka, like a great scorer. I'm trying to think who else would. I don't know, even like a Dame or something. But like, with the way it is now, I just don't think that LeBron can carry your offense and for 16 games, over 16 games, or 16 wins. In the playoffs, I just don't think it's possible anymore. And I think Lakers knew that, which is why they didn't go all in. Because theoretically, right, if you think you have a chance for your team, you're going to go all in, especially with LeBron, especially with trying to keep him in LA, assuming you want to do that, right? Because obviously he's free agent this year. You think they want to keep him, but they didn't sacrifice the future to keep him there, which says a lot, I think, about where they stand, keep themselves as a team. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of this Lakers team with construction. I was a big fan of the offseason with like Gabe Vincent and whatnot, but he's been dog shit, obviously.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't even played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean,
he's on $11 million a year to not play.
Move him. He hasn't even played for them.
But the thing about like going all in, like they don't who would they go all in for? Like DeJounte? Like I don't think he's
gonna make them
that good.
Exactly.
Exactly. So they couldn't even go all in if they wanted to.
Okay. Yeah,
they don't have anything to give up, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nobody that would make them a contender because no one was good enough to make them a contender. That's why they make new moves. If they could have made a move around the edges, they would have to get someone who would make them a contender, right? But they just didn't have like last year. They were able to make some really smart moves to get off the Westbrook deal and make them, although they weren't necessarily a contender, like a true contender, they can still be really competitive in the series. They weren't. They got swept. Everyone knew they were going to lose to the Nuggets except for you. Okay, they would never be in the Nuggets. Nuggets were a better team the whole season. They were just better. I don't think there's an argument there. We talked about it at the time. They were just a better team, and they were never going to beat. I mean, I don't think it would have been Miami either, but that's irrelevant.
Oh, that's crazy.
I don't think so.
Crazy.
I don't think they would have.
Hey, all I'm gonna say, what happened a couple years ago?
Hey,
yeah.
Jared,
Look at your team now.
Series might be wraps. I mean, I don't know about that one, but I mean, that's hypothetical.
Miami. Last year they would be Miami. This year, I think I don't know what's up with Miami. They're a really weird team, But anyway, we'll talk about them later. But
I think some of the things that attribute to the Lakers really slow start this season again, it was many of the lineup inconsistencies. Like at one point, they had Austin Reeves come off the bench. Another point they had D'Lo and Austin Reeves coming off the bench, committing to the LeBron at point guard. Yeah. And it's just it just hasn't been consistent. But recently I feel like they found a bit more consistent lineup. That's why I feel like they've been racking up more wins, quality wins too against good playoff caliber teams. I just feel like they could build on this and just build more chemistry and kind of build up with the success from last season too.
All right, here's my thing. I'll start with the Lakers now, and then I'll look at them long term because I think Rich did bring up an interesting point about them long term, especially with Anthony Davis. So now we'll do the exercise of who I think they could beat in the playoffs. We'll do that a little bit after this. But right now, I think the Lakers stand as a team that you wouldn't want to face in the first round of the playoffs. But unless they're
definitely.
healthy, I don't know if they're going past a second round. I think if they do get healthy and Jared Vanderbilt is there,
They are healthy. Vanderbilt is a series.
What do you mean?
Okay, I
Bro,
don't think
what?
he changes the series.
He's
I don't think
their
Vanderbilt
best.
on his own.
He's their
No,
best defender. I
can't
know.
play
I said
offense.
AD.
He's a
Alex,
liability.
Alex,
He
I watched every single Lakers game. When Jared Vanderbilt got healthy, as of recently, that was the best stretch of the Lakers season outside.
Valid.
Mini
I don't think he's necessarily like
mini run in the
in the
in-season
playoffs.
tournament.
He's a liability.
But
I
all
think,
it takes is like one good like game or like one good player, and they could just that could be the difference between you winning or losing
Well,
a series.
here's my thing with Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt opens up the Lakers starting lineup because you can't. A lot of times you'll see teams go attack D'Angelo Russell, go attack Austin Reeves offensively. But when you have Jared Vanderbilt, he's able to not mask all those issues, but he's able to make up for some of those issues. So then offensively, you're able to play D'Lo and Reeves more minutes together, which has been proven to work out for the Lakers. I mean, when they've been in the starting lineup together, D'Angelo Russell has exploded as of late. I don't think it's just a coincidence that's happened when Austin Reeves has been there. I think those two together, Reeves, as much as the hate he's been getting this season, he's having pretty much a career year for him. I mean, I don't see a team that really scares me as to saying there's no chance the Lakers could beat them fully healthy. I'm not saying I would take the Lakers in a series, but there's no team in the West as of right now that I think it would be impossible for the Lakers to miraculously win a playoff series against them. I mean, you say they had no chance against Denver, but let's be honest. There were one or two Jokic fade away over the head.
Yeah, because he's a
Jamal
Jokic.
Murray random at
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Incredible.
exactly.
Think of
last year.
crazy like LeBron had, crazy shots LeBron had, crazy things LeBron has
Even though
done.
it was
AD
a
has done.
sweep,
No,
like
no,
I feel like that doesn't tell the whole story of the actual series because all the games were like really.
But they weren't going to
close.
beat them. They weren't going to beat them.
And here's
You don't think they
my-
had
here's
a
my-
single
No.
chance, Pitch?
No, we talked about it.
They
at the
never
time.
had a
Remember what I was
chance.
talking to you about? We talked about it at the time. I was like, "There's no way in hell they win this series," and you were like, "Oh, LeBron.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Let
I
go.
think a big point that was brought up in the Lakers losing that series was they weren't able to gel together. That team was kind of built after the trade deadline. They kind of had that short stint, got hot, able to make the playoffs and then make that run. It's been kind of tough for them again to build that chemistry this year, especially with Vanderbilt's injuries and some other injuries they've had to deal with. But I think in terms of having Rui there and continuing to develop, Max Christie, he's come on really well if you've been watching the Lakers, is kind of a guy that could take over that Cam Reddish role, as they haven't had Reddish also. He's also been injured. But he's been a guy that's been a point of attack defender that has defended and shot the three ball pretty well for the Lakers in the past couple of games. So if they continue to bring along these guys, and I think the Anthony Davis piece is interesting because they've ever since that playoff run or that championship they won, they've moved him to center, and they've been kind of playing smaller forwards alongside him. I think the Lakers, as of late, have found success bringing in Jackson Hayes and Christian bench and playing AD at the 4, allowing him to be more of an offensive threat. And I think you mentioned long term in terms of what they're going to do with LeBron and AD. I think LeBron's probably got one more year with the Lakers. I think Bronny's probably going to stay in college. He's probably going to stay in college. It's going to be easier on the James family just for LeBron to stay in LA and, play for the Lakers one more year and probably go to whatever team Bronny goes to the year after. In terms of Anthony Davis, I think that he probably needs to lose the weight that he put on to play center. I think he needs to go back to power forward. And I think the Lakers need to run a traditional 5 next to him and play him in that 4 slot where he thrives.
So who would you take out at the lineup right now? Who would you take out? Because right now, the last game they started, what was it? Okay, the D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Rui, LeBron, and AD. So would you take out Rui and then move LeBron to the 3?
Well, I think the other
Yeah.
thing about Vanderbilt is he's a great rebound. That's another problem the Lakers have is rebounding. I mean, sometimes they're just too small to get. Rui is trying out there as more of a small forward, but I mean the rebound has been severely affected by Vanderbilt being out. He's a guy that offensive rebounds for you as well as defensive. So I think Vanderbilt is good enough to be alongside AD when healthy, but with him out, I think it would be helpful to maybe you don't have to start him, but stagger minutes with a Jackson Hayes who's played really well for the Lakers as of late, and a Christian Wood who can come in there and give you solid minutes and shoot the 3 ball a little bit. So I think long term they're going to look for a center to play alongside AD, but for this season, until Vanderbilt comes back, I think the move would be to either bring Rui off the bench and play a Hayes or Wood in the starting lineup, or to continue to start Rui, but just make sure that you work in those minutes with Hayes and Wood, because I think this Lakers team is really not as far off as you think. I think that if you look at the teams that they beat this year, they beat some real contending teams. I mean, a lot of their losses are losses like you just scratch your head and think, what are they doing?
Yeah.
I think
you have to beat those teams.
I think their problem is really consistency problem, which I believe will get fixed by the time of the playoffs. I think when playoff time, the intensity
based on LeBron's history,
I think that LeBron
always chills through
LeBron teams come. No, LeBron teams in the playoffs. It's a different
They
animal.
come in the what?
They come to play in the playoffs.
Okay, wait. I have a bunch of thoughts. Okay, first of all, I don't think you can put LeBron at the 3 anymore, just because I don't think defensively he doesn't try on defense. I think it's fair to say.
That's the other thing. LeBron,
yeah, exactly.
LeBron, when he tries on defense, is a good.
He doesn't.
He's not an average.
Bro, remember that play on Jalen Brunson moving them feet?
When LeBron tries on defense, he is a good defender.
I think it's a bad tone. Okay, let me just. I have a bunch of things to say. Okay, let me talk. So LeBron is a tone setter for the Lakers, right? If LeBron doesn't try on defense, who the hell else is going to try, right? Like if your main guy doesn't give a shit on defense, that's a bad thing for your team. Like that's just not a good thing to have in your locker room. Have a guy who openly does not care, and then goes around blaming you, your teammates for the team losing and shit on the media.
Do you think that's a regular season thing, or do you think that continues into the playoffs?
I think it continues because he's old. I mean, he's 39. Obviously he's not the same defensive player, especially on the perimeter, right? He's best as like a roamer using a defensive IQ to make plays, but he isn't guard. He can guard 1-on-1. And I think if you're putting, say like AD at the 4 and I don't know Jackson Hayes at the 5, he's gonna have to guard the perimeter because AD is best as a roamer. I think he's best playing off the ball, using his IQ, using his blocking ability, all that shit. And then Hayes. Okay, so you're saying about the 5 situation where they should have a different 5. I don't like Hayes at all. I don't think he's necessarily. I just don't think he's someone you can put alongside AD because of the shooting. Both of them are pretty much non-shooters. Christian Wood doesn't play defense. So I don't think you can put him next to AD either.
But when they won the championship, they had Dwight and McGee, who both were non-shooters.
Yeah,
but they
AD can shoot that. AD can shoot that. AD shooting 28% of the 3.
But even then, he wasn't just on the perimeter, just like that, just splashing threes, bro. He was more kind of working the mid-range though, which his mid-range game has declined too recently. But I do love the way Jackson Hayes has been playing. He's been playing with so much energy and hustle, bro.
Yeah, that's off the bench, I think.
The Lakers' 3-point shooting hasn't taken a hit. If anything, it's been pretty good the last couple of games, and that's with Hayes playing even. I mean, I think when you're able to start it, that's why I didn't like them bringing Austin Reeves off the bench. I think when you're able to start a D'Angelo Russell and an Austin Reeves and LeBron, who is best 3-point shooting years in a while, really, that gives you enough shooting. And Anthony Davis doesn't have to be. I don't think he should be a 3-point shooter. I don't want him to be a 3-point. I think they have enough there. I really do. They don't have to
if he's playing the 4,
a ton of threes.
If he's playing the 4, then he's kind of has to be on the perimeter, right? You can't have 2 bigs down low. This isn't 2005. This is you need to have if you want to have a modern offense, have a successful offense in the modern day. You need to have spacing, right? Especially with a guy like LeBron, who's better going downhill. You want him getting to the basket. You need spacing around him, right? And I just don't think that an offense can be successful with pretty much 2 non-shooters plus a guy like LeBron who you really want going to the basket. You know what I mean? Like LeBron can shoot. He's shooting like 39% on the year, but you want him going to the basket. That's where he's most efficient. You want to see him in the post, I think, as well, using his intelligence and his his king abilities.
The fadeaway.
The fadeaway, the jumper, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think. I think this Lakers roster is too flawed. There's too many one-dimensional players. There's too many players who just don't. Okay, let me 1 second. Also, you said about late LeBron probably gonna stay in LA for 1 more year. I don't think he is because I don't think he wants to win as many rings as possible. I don't think he's gonna stay.
Who is he gonna go to for 1 year?
Philly.
And then
Philly.
He's gonna go to Philly.
Yeah, play with Embiid, get a ring. Play with Embiid, get a ring. He'll go anywhere for a ring. I really believe that. I think he wants to win.
Well, here's my counter argument to that. LeBron is the family man. He's all about
exactly.
Sperm might go to the league though. You don't know.
I don't think Bronny's going to the league. Unless Bronny
I don't think he
transfers out and goes to a different school away from home. I think LeBron loves being at home, being with his family, being in LA. I don't think it's worth going to.
Bro. I get that.
I think
LeBron's okay. 1 second. I don't think I think LeBron is constantly trying to measure himself to Jordan. I mean, I think if he wants to be undoubtedly better than Jordan, I think Jordan's still better. I know you guys love LeBron, so he's probably your number ones. But yeah, I see you guys smiling. But
I mean, to be honestly, I don't really care on the GOAT debate.
Yeah,
if someone says Jordan, if someone says LeBron, I'm like, all right.
Okay, but he wants to be the undoubted
not
GOAT.
That deep to me.
I think he cares about his legacy. I think he cares about how he's perceived by future
generations. Bro, remember that Game of Zones episode where it had the battle between the current all-stars and all that versus the old ones, and then LeBron's like, I will now be crowned the GOAT, but at the end it was Paul Pierce got crowned the GOAT.
Yeah,
that was so funny, right?
But yeah. But I think he cares about the legacy. He cares about getting the 6 rings. Even if he never publicly say it, I think he cares. And this Lakers team isn't winning a ring, and I don't think they're going to win a ring next year.
Let's do an exercise then. I'll give you a team, and you tell me in a playoff series who you're taking. No elaborations on this though, because this could take a while if we elaborate on each.
It will. I'll fight all of you.
Here we go.
But
Here we go. Lakers, Mavs. Who are you taking?
Lakers.
I think
Los Angeles
Lakers in 7. Lakers in 7. I think it really is a toss up. Lakers in 7.
I'm taking the Lakers. Lakers, Pelicans. Who are you taking?
Pelicans.
Lakers.
They beat the Pelicans twice.
Yeah, I think Pelicans are a better team. I think Pelicans are a sneaky team.
Bro, you're talking about can't shoot, bro. Zion fat ass, bro.
Oh no.
Yeah, okay, Zion's
Lakers.
His defense is even worse than LeBron.
All right. Lakers, Kings.
Better team, I think Pelicans. I think Pelicans can. I just think Pelicans. I think Pelicans. I vibes, bro.
Lakers, Kings. Who you taking? I know on your team.
We know Pritchard.
On your teams.
Okay, so when I watched the Kings versus Lakers start the season, right? Kings looked great. They looked amazing. It was a close game. Kings took, they really beat them, I think, by 3 or 5 or something. It was a great game. I think that the Kings are super inconsistent, and I don't love that. And I think that in a playoff series, I thought about it a little bit more since we talked about it off camera. I think I would take the Lakers just purely because the Kings are so inconsistent. And I love the Kings. I think they're a great team. I love Fox. I love Sabonis. But I just don't think that. Yeah, I just don't think that. I just think Lakers in 7 or something. I think similar to last year, the Warriors.
Let's go to Lakers Thunder.
Thunder, easy. Thunder.
Lakers.
You're taking the Lakers. The Lakers have already beat them twice this year. I don't know,
bro. As you said, regular season, right? Regular season.
Well, here's my thing.
So what have the Thunder done in the playoffs for to prove to you that they can beat them?
They're a better team now. Shea is one of the best 5 players in the league, I think.
But we just said they beat them twice.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in regular season, right? It's the playoffs.
I think it would go to 7.
Yeah, exactly. It's playoffs.
It would go to 7. OKC would win.
I think it goes to 7.
I don't even think it goes to 7.
And I think the experience of the Lakers wins out in a 7-game series.
It's okay.
Maybe
so you mean by LeBron?
Lakers in 6, bro.
But
Lakers
I think
in 6.
If the series goes to 7,
bro, zip it up when you're done doing whatever on it, bro.
All right.
Come on. This is crazy, bro.
I feel like a lot of teams could beat the Thunder, honestly.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean,
Based on what? Based on what? Have you
let's go to
watched?
a
Do you watch
similar
the
team.
games?
I just think other
Let's go
teams are better.
Let's go to a similar team then.
Adam, one second. Like who? Who do you think is better than the Thunder right now?
The Suns.
Huh?
In the
Do you think
playoffs?
the Suns?
You
No, in
I
general.
think the Suns
you
will
think
beat the
they're better
Thunder.
team?
No, but like, I'm going off who I think would like win in the playoff
I
series.
think the Clippers would beat the Thunder in a series. I think the Nuggets would beat the Thunder in the
Yeah.
series.
I
The
think
Suns,
Clippers.
the
I think the
Lakers.
Okay, wait.
Suns would beat the Thunder in a
Okay.
series.
Okay, so
The
I think
Mavs could
Clippers.
beat the Thunder
We don't
in a
know
series,
purely
I feel like.
because. Okay, wait. Clippers. I think we don't know because so many playoff jokers in that team. But Clippers are looking amazing at the moment. I'll give them
Yeah.
credit, but depends on health because obviously they get hurt so much. Suns. I don't think so. They're so injury prone. If one guy goes down, I think they're a completely different team.
Same
so
with
really,
the
you
other
are
team, bro.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're so likely because they're so also injury prone. Like all these guys have gotten hurt, have had nagging injuries and whatnot. So I just don't trust it. Who else did you say? Let me just go through the standings real quick.
I said
I think the Mavericks
Nuggets.
could
The
beat
Nuggets
them.
would beat the Thunder.
The Nuggets, Nuggets would win. I agree. I think Nuggets are the team to beat. Don't
I
say
think the
Nuggets will
Mavericks
beat
could
the
beat
Lakers.
the Thunder, like we said earlier.
I think that's a possibility. It is.
Timberwolves.
All right,
I think
well,
Timberwolves
let's
is
get-
a weird. Okay,
yeah.
anyway, go back to Lakers.
Let's get into the Timberwolves. I was going to say the next team. It's kind of
I like that.
Minnesota.
Let's see.
The Lakers.
Ooh wee.
The Lakers. They're fucking up the Timberwolves.
I think Timberwolves personally. I think they are the more talented team, and I think the Bigs. I think they're going to destroy them on the boards. I think Minnesota can destroy them offensively on the boards. They're too big. I don't think AD can handle that. Can handle the girth of the Timberwolves. I think Rudy is playing amazing this year, and I think he is someone
We
that
all know Rudy in the playoffs, though.
yeah.
They're not the same.
No, he's good in the playoffs. Just the schemes around him.
No, he's not.
No. Okay. Utah, no perimeter defenders around him. He had nobody. It was just him. That's how the whole team's built around amazing offense and just funnel everything to Rudy. This year on Minnesota, they have good like defensive players. Guys like Ant who can get stops. Cat is a big body. Like he's getting better on the defensive end, even though he's still flawed. Jaden McDaniels, great defender. He's like 10. Like this is Naz Reid. We love Naz. Naz Reid destroys the Lakers.
Naz Reid's good.
Naz Reid's jelly fan. But I just think the Timberwolves are a perfect matchup for the Lakers. Just like they're a perfect matchup for the Nuggets. Even though the Nuggets are better, I think Timberwolves have built their team to beat the Lakers and beat the Nuggets. Even though I still pretty low on the Timberwolves overall, but I just think they match up perfectly with the Lakers.
Yeah, I think the Timberwolves, their record doesn't.
They're the one seed. Okay, they're still the one seed.
The one seed, but do you think their record truly indicates where they're at in the West? I don't think they're the best team in the West. They're 36.
They're tied for the one seed with like 3-4 teams, bro.
Yeah, and we're the Lakers. The Lakers are 9 seed.
But either way, last year the Lakers beat the 2 seed. I don't think seeding really matters.
He was hurt because Steven Adams was hurt. Okay. And they like no bigs. So
Steven Adams isn't like winning the Grizzlies the series, bro. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
he is because he was guarding LeBron. He was guarding AD. He was gonna be the big guy.
Bro, I watched the
series,
on the boards, bro. I went to Game 3, bro. They were
I know
40
you did.
at one point in that game, bro. I know you.
Yeah, I know. Look,
you could have came with.
Okay, Lakers still might have won, but I think the Grizzlies were the underdogs because of the injuries. They were so small, and like Jaren Jackson struggles on the boards. Obviously, they just weren't a good matchup, right? And I think everyone kind of had the feeling that they were going to win that series. So it wasn't exactly an upset.
A better team.
All right. Well,
no, because
let's move off. Let's move off the Timberwolves. I think I would probably take the Lakers in a close series. They have more experience with the Thunder, which is an added bonus. Yeah. They've been there in the playoffs.
Cat ain't shit in the playoffs though.
I think Anthony Davis kind of limit what they do in terms of with Cat and Rudy, but I'd still take the Lakers over the Timberwolves. And then Suns. Who you guys go? Lakers, Suns. I'd probably take the Lakers. I've seen them play the Suns already this year. And the Suns, like you mentioned, they have to stay healthy. They have 3 guys, and if one of those guys
I agree.
The Lakers think easily win the.
It's a very weird series if that were to happen. I think
that'd be kind of fun though.
It'd be fun series. I think all over the place. I don't think you really predict that. Just because there's so many, so many wild cards. I like the Suns healthy, but I think if, as I said, one guy goes down, they're losing the series. So I really think that's a toss-up. I just take Suns, just because why not? I don't, because I'm a hater.
All right. Lakers, Clippers, Battle of LA.
Clippers playing amazing so far. Clippers,
hell no.
How? Based on what? What are you basing this on? What the fuck are you talking about?
Bro, what do you mean?
What? What are you basing this on? What are you basing the Lakers being better than the Clippers for?
The Lakers beat the Clippers a couple
Kawhi,
times this season.
Kawhi right now is playing better than LeBron. Okay, Kawhi is the best player in the series. Paul George is a great player. Okay,
He's a
Harden
great
is playing
player.
great on this team.
All right,
He's
Anthony Davis
he's
is
an
better than
athlete,
Paul
you know?
George.
Zubac. Okay, Zubac. Zubac. Whatever. He's like no. I'm just saying, big man. Westbrook's playing great off the bench. He's a great has a great role in this team.
But, like,
Clippers have so much talent. I don't think I don't
James
get how you
Harden
can.
in the playoffs. Paul George in the playoffs.
okay,
Bro, what
yeah.
are they known for?
PG's good. PG's a good player. Okay. Harden, I get that completely, but Harden's being asked to do less on this team, and he just has to play make. If he does what he says when he's being told to, and he plays within his role, then I think they're a great team. They're playing amazingly. I don't think there's any way you can justify picking the Lakers or the Clippers based purely on this season.
Here's my thing, Alex.
It's a
think
home
that
game
series
for the Lakers
would
every
be-
game.
That's fair,
That's
yeah.
also true. I think this series would come down to Anthony Davis. If you look at the Clippers, they kind of match up well outside of maybe point guard position in terms of guarding
Yeah.
the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
The one weakness is Zubac in the middle guarding Anthony Davis, and we've seen Anthony Davis perform well against the Clippers in the past. I feel like that would be a series where he would have to be the 1A and really win the
I don't think
series
he would
for the
though.
Lakers.
That's the thing. I don't think he has the mentality
That would be
anymore.
the
I think he would.
In terms of
we haven't seen
sort of-
that in him. Like we have, like we haven't seen that in him.
If
you know what I mean?
if he came to play, I would take the Lakers. If he doesn't, I would take the Clippers. Simple as that. And then
I'll
finally,
take the Lakers.
who are you taking? Lakers Nuggets Part 2 in the playoffs.
Nuggets. If you say Lakers,
Nuggets.
I swear to God, bro.
I'd take
Nuggets.
the Nuggets.
Okay.
Yeah, I take the Nuggets too.
I mean,
All right. Well, I think we've exhausted the Lakers at this point. We talked about the Lakers for
We talked about them more than the trade deadline.
Well, there's more arguments about the Lakers, but let's get into another team that is sitting kind of near the top of the Eastern Conference. We already talked about the Knicks, but how about the Bucks? Kind of a quiet deadline for them. They do have through trade, which I thought was a good move. Maybe get your guys' opinion on that, but I think bringing in a defensive presence, that was what they needed, a point of attack guy, someone to kind of bring that dog. I don't want to say that the Bucks got soft, but it kind of feels like they've gotten a little bit soft with the absence of Drew Holiday.
I mean, Giannis is crazy though. That's the thing. Like
They got budget. They got budget. Drew Holiday and Pat Bev.
Yeah, but Giannis has been like a monster this year. Like in terms of mentality, you see the way he's been so aggressive. I don't think they're needing a dog necessarily, right? They have that in Giannis. The thing is, from a Philly perspective, right?
I mean, Bobby Portis has basically come out and said they kind of do. I mean, he's really the only guy out there that is a true defender. Go out and not play
defender.
that
They need defender
scoring
for sure.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of
their
cachet is more on the offensive side. I think they kind of did need more of a.
But I'm by a dog. I'm meaning like a fire up guy, right? Like that's what Pat Bev's always been, like this fiery midget that just goes out there, hounds people. I'm talking about like off. You know what I mean? He holds people accountable, right? They already have that in Giannis. I think they still have someone who holds people accountable, is a leader. They don't need. This isn't like the Timberwolves when they traded for Pat Bev and they needed someone to be the adult, right? They have that in Giannis. They have the
play-in ring.
Yeah.
The play-in championship.
I don't think Pat Bev's necessarily that good anymore. Like I don't think he's because if a team like Philly is willing to just dump him pretty much, and take that campaign, he's been like atrocious this year. I think it's fair to say. It means that they don't really value him, right? And they just picked off Kyle Lowry off of waivers today, who was obviously not that he hasn't been that good recently in Miami, but they still value like a washed up Kyle Lowry over Pat Bev. I think it says a lot about Pat Bev and not being. I'm just giving them a rival, a contender, for what is it, a second or something like, I think it was a second.
It was like a second.
Yeah. It's like that is you're just giving him away for free pretty much. Just giving away someone to one of your biggest contenders.
Exactly, to a rival.
It just shows he just isn't that good anymore. He isn't that guy.
They don't,
as we
they
talked
don't really
about
care.
like before the pod, we talked about like how Milwaukee needs point of attack defense, right? They lost out with Drew. Lillard is obviously not good at it. Beasley isn't really a defender. Guys like Pat Connaughton aren't really the stoppers that you need. So obviously bringing in Pat Bev would be great in a series. We also lost to Javon Carter. He went in free agency, but I think he definitely can be someone who can play. And he definitely someone who can contribute. But I don't think it's not a needle. It doesn't move the needle for them. doesn't change their overall problems. Hopefully, in the buyout market, they can pick up somebody that can bring some kind of defense to the table for the Bucks.
And Dame just needs to play more consistent. Like he'll have like so many games where like one game he'll have like 30 and another game he'll have like 12 fucking points. Like
I
he
have him
just
in
needs to
fantasy.
like
It's a struggle, bro.
I know, yeah. I didn't bro. I
Life's
didn't
hard.
last year, bro, and he was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
he just
in the
needs
third
to
round.
like
It's crazy.
yeah, I know. He just needs to like play more consistently. Like they just can't like rely on like that if that's what they're gonna give him. Like that's why they're such an up and down team. They don't know what they're getting from their second best player. Like that's kind of a problem.
And Brook, if you look at Brook, like Brook's a great defender, but obviously, I wouldn't say he's a good defender. He's a great shot blocker. He's a great big guy. You know what I mean? But he's not necessarily like a switchable guy. You have to keep him in drop coverage, and to run drop coverage, you need to have great perimeter defenders who can fight over screens, beat tough, and all that stuff. Which I guess Pat Bev can do pretty well. Another question of Pat Bev is how does he fit in offensively? Is he going to be able to hit his shots? I don't know off the top of my head what.
Anywhere, but I mean,
yeah.
he's having
I mean, on the season,
on the
season, he's shooting 37% from three, 43% overall. Like he just isn't a great offensive guy, It's that someone you need to figure out if he can hit his shots. Like Kevin Love last year on the Heat, like he was only brought in, as a zombie pretty much, and just made him into this great playoff performer because he rediscovered his offense, rediscovered his shot, and hopefully with Pat Bev they can figure that out and turn him into a great player because they need that. They really need a guy like Pat Bev. Just purely with his defensive skill set, not the
bro. No joke.
I'm a dog.
Pat Bev. I feel like he's gonna be like more useful like on the sidelines than like on the court. Like that's where his value.
Yeah, is he the Cleveland coach?
Fire them up more. Just someone to like hold them accountable. Like that. I feel like that like speaks more than like his actual play on the court. Like sure he'll provide like some good defense, good hustle plays like here and there, but like offensively, 6 points really, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, the last 5 years were yours, and the next 5 are mine. Like, bro, come on, we're still in them.
Well, going to the side, they bring in Doc. It kind of feels like he's brought in that experienced coach that holds the guys accountable. It has more respect than Adrian Griffin, who had a pretty good record. I mean, the Bucks were in a decent spot before he got fired. It was just their defense was, so horrendous that management couldn't win a championship with where they were at. I mean, I think Doc's not a great coach, but in my opinion, they didn't really have a lot of other options if they did opt to fire Griffin. Maybe you look at like a Kenny Atkinson, who I think is a pretty good coach, or a Mark Jackson. But what do you think of that hiring of Doc? As they've been on a little bit of a skid with him coming in 2-5 in the first couple of games of the Doc tenure here.
Honestly, initially, like I wasn't really that mad about like the Doc Rivers like hiring, because like one thing about Doc Rivers is like in the regular season like he just provides like stability, and like in the playoffs too, like sure like he has blown a lot of leads, like a lot of leads, 3-1 leads, 3-2 leads, 2-0 leads, you name the lead he's blown it. But like the thing is like they're always like in the games, in the series, like even with like Philly being up 3-2 last year in Boston, James Harden played terrible in that game 7. And even that Embiid didn't play like all too well. Like he gave them a chance to like be in that position, but like there's also not much you could do when your like players don't perform. Like with the Clippers, how many times like Chris Paul has gone down, like that's like not all his fault. Paul George being like absolutely pandemic dog shit, hit the side of the backboard. Like, you think Doc Rivers was like, yeah, bro, missed
okay,
that
but this
shit,
is
bro.
like
nah, bro.
Doc's been doing this for like 20 years. Okay, he's been
exactly,
since
but
like Orlando
I know,
with
but
Tracy
like,
McGrady. Okay, but the thing is, he's a
but it's
proven guy
not
who
all
struggles in the
his
playoffs.
fault though. But
yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence. A lot of people saying people have been in the locker rooms, been on his teams, and saying that he struggles to adapt. Right? If you look at those Clippers teams in the 2010s, like they were teams they would lose to less talented teams because they couldn't adapt. They were, in the locker room, they were front runners. They were teams that, I mean, everything's great. They were all hyped and all that stuff. But when they were losing, they just couldn't come together and work together. And that kind of says a lot about Doc, like I think as a coach, as a man management, which is he's supposed to be best at, right? With those, those Bucks teams and whatnot. But I just don't necessarily think it was the right hire. I don't think it's worth firing Griffin just to get him. I think if you're promoting an assistant from within, or you were bringing in like as you said, like a Kenny Atkinson type of guy, a guy that's proven to to be a good coach, to win games and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, midseason hires are pretty rare. You don't see a lot of them
Yeah.
in the league for a reason, right? Because they just don't work.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this goes. So yeah, I overall I'm not a big fan of it, but I still think they have so much talent, and I think if they're able to figure everything out, get everything going, Pat Bev, if you make add someone in the buy
Pat
market
Bev.
alongside Pat Bev, yeah, it's exciting, for them if they can get everything to work, but we'll see. I don't think so.
Well, even
Personally.
then, I don't really think they could have gotten Kenny Atkinson. I feel like bro just does
Yeah.
not want to leave like the Warriors.
Yeah,
Like he
Warriors
just,
I mean,
he just chill there.
Mid-season hires, as you mentioned, Alex, are kind of tough. I mean, they really didn't have many options.
Yeah.
But I do agree with their sentiment that with Griffin, I don't think they were winning a title. I think that kind of became pretty evident as the season unfolded. The only question then became, do they sacrifice maybe year 2 and year 3 of the Dame and Giannis, run at a championship to just go get Doc now, because they've secured him for 3 years now. They could obviously fire him, but that's a lot to have on their books.
Yeah. And I think it's
if they were to
ridiculous
fire
that they
Doc
hired
after
him
a
for so
year.
long. I think
so
Doc would have. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were put in a tough situation. A lot of people hate Doc. I don't view him as a bad coach. I think he's a decent enough coach. I think you could win a championship. Doc has won championship. Like, you could win a championship with Doc. So I don't think it was a bad hire. I still think the Bucks are a 2 or 3 seed in the East, and it would be tough for me to take New York over them in a series. As much as I've seen the Bucks reeling, I still think in a series, Bucks have the best player in the series. Giannis would be rather overwhelming. With Dame and Giannis, it's just hard for me to pick anyone in the East besides maybe Boston over Milwaukee, because I think once Doc gets in there and really is able to establish, an identity on the defensive end for this team, I think that's going to take time. He's only had 7 games, and now they're heading to the All-Star break. I think once we hit, a couple weeks after the All-Star break, we'll really see where this team stands in terms of the defensive end. But I think you have to give it a little bit of time before you can really judge this Doc hire.
I think giving him 4 years is insane. One more thing. I think giving that long contract doesn't make any sense, because I think he also probably would have taken like a short contract too. I think if you want to position yourself for the future, you don't know what you have with Doc yet. I just don't see the point giving him such a big contract, considering that he has a reputation for blowing leads. You don't know how he's going to mesh with the locker room. He doesn't have time to implement anything. I just don't think giving him a big contract made any sense. Maybe that's part of his demands in terms of coming out of semi-retirement to go coach. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. But we'll see how it goes. I don't think Doc's necessarily a bad coach, as you said. I just don't think it's going to work this year. I think it was hasty. I think to fire Griffin without really having something lined up necessarily, or having something that.
The thing about firing Adrian Griffin, though, even though like they had like a pretty good record, like it seemed like he didn't really have control of the locker room, or like many of the players didn't like really respect him. And like I just feel like you can't really like win at the highest level if your players don't respect your coach. Like earlier in the season, they weren't like rocking with his defense team. Like Brook Lopez, he wanted to drop and coverage, but Adrian Griffin, like he didn't want to do that. But he adjusted to what the players wanted, but still it seems like they're always telling him what to do or how to coach rather than him like being the coach. So like bringing in Doc, even though like he has his flaws, like he's still like respected in the NBA.
Yeah, he's a veteran coach. Griffin was a first-year coach. He definitely, there was stuff in the preseason, like he was having, Terry Stoss was the assistant.
Yeah, I remember that.
Left, stuff like that.
That's why Dame's not good anymore, bro.
Yeah, exactly. He's washed.
His boy Terry Stoss made him.
Big T. But yeah, I just think that obviously it had to be really extreme for him to fire Griffin, and I just don't think Doc is someone who keeps you at a championship level personally. But yeah, I think that's all we probably have for the Bucks, right? Anything else?
Yep, I think that about wraps up what we got today. Quick final thoughts. Super Bowl today. Who you got? Score prediction: Chiefs, Niners. Cheyenne, start with you.
I got the Chiefs winning. Let me think my score. 27 to. Okay, give me 27-17.
Intriguing. Okay. I'm not a big
That's
football
right.
guy, so don't respect anything I'm about to say. But obviously the Chiefs are the underdogs, right? Which is insane because because Mahomes is obviously the best player in the game. I think it's fair to say. Although I don't honestly know that much, I just know Mahomes is crazy good, and I think being able to bet from a betting perspective, right? If you're able to bet on, Shine knows betting, but
Yes, sir. 200 like 2 days ago on Prize Picks.
Whoa! We gotta
Yeah.
preface. Prize Picks legal in California.
Oh
Nothing
yeah,
illegal.
in California.
He's in
And I am
California.
above the legal betting
He's
age.
above
By the
legal age.
laws.
Exactly.
By the laws type shit. Okay, back to
I'm
what I was
not
saying.
illegal.
I think that so many people are betting on the Chiefs, like because you get the money line and you get to bet on Mahomes. I think it's going to be a Niners win because I think that from a purely financial perspective, I think the Niners are going to win. I just
On a
think the Niners are better.
financial
And also,
perspective.
yeah,
Alright,
purely I just
alright.
think logically Niners are going to win. That's my thoughts.
I got
Fuck
Niners 20. Take it to the bank. Brock Purdy gets it done. Beats
Yep.
Mahomes in a close one.
Oh, yeah, score
Last
prediction.
minute,
I'll say
keep the ball. They keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands.
I'm going to say 32-24.
30-24. That's prediction. All right. If any one of us
Yeah.
get that correct score right, we should get something. But
All right.
overall, that's gonna wrap up today's episode. We thank you
God
for
bless.
joining
Yep.
Yes, sir.
before the buzzer.
Go subscribe.
Episode 1, first ever episode.
Yep.
Listen, subscribe,
Yeah.
follow us on Spotify.
Yeah. Follow
Follow
Instagram.
us on
Yeah.
Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, all the socials. Once again, we appreciate you for listening here. We hope you got all this NBA news in before the buzzer of this weekend. Ending here. Hope you enjoy your Super Bowl, or I guess it's going to probably come out after the Super Bowl, but hope you enjoyed your Super Bowl and hope to see you here next week. Well, when we discuss the latest news from this upcoming week's NBA slate. But for Adam and for Cheyenne and Alex, I'm Adam, and thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.